Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Business Point on Global Television. I'm Queen Agaba. And of course, on Business Points, we x-ray Nigeria's economy. We talk about tech innovation as well as government policies. Today, we're going to be exploring the world of business and the news making rounds in business. Barely 24 hours after a runway incident involving, I beg your pardon, a Dana Air flight from Abuja to Lagos, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has suspended the Air Operator Certificate, AOC, of the airline, effectively grounding all its scheduled operations. The suspension came hours after the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, gave the directive to the NCAA, a move that was greeted with mixed reactions from aviation stakeholders and experts who described the minister's action as an interference in the regulatory power of the NCAA. In line with the standards and recommended practices of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, only the regulatory authority, which is the NCAA, has the power to suspend an airline. Keyamo, in the letter with reference number PS/FMA/MA/S121/VOL 1 and 1999 titled Immediate Suspension of Dana Airline Pending Safety and Financial Health Audit, said, as the supervisor overseeing the nation's aviation safety and regulatory compliance, it has come to the Honorable Minister's attention that recent incidents involving Dana Airline have raised serious concerns regarding both the safety and financial viability of their operations, according to the letter, and subsequent to the runway excursion involving MD-82 aircraft with registration marks 5N and BKI at Murtala Mohammed International Airport on 23rd April 2024. The authority is waiting the preliminary report of the investigation launched by the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB. Now, the safety audit will entail a re-inspection of the organization, the procedures, personnel, and aircraft as specified by Part 1333 of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulations, while the economic audit will critically examine the financial health of Dana Airline to guarantee its capacity to sustain safe flight operations. They're also to know that this is necessary that they comply. Aviation analyst Group Captain John Ojikutu, retired, said NCCA has autonomy on safety regulations, oversight and enforcement. He also said the minister should not interfere in their oversight responsibility. While we had a talk with a spokesman, the minister, Moshood Keyamo, said the minister has not committed any act of interference, saying the minister was not ready to take a chance. That's a whole lot of, regulations as regards the Dana Airline and the Aviation Ministry. Now, fuel queues have resurfaced in many parts of the country, even as motorists lament the hike in the price of the premium motor spirit, PMS, otherwise known as petroleum. As regards reports in Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, and Lagos revealed that there were unusually long queues in most filling stations. Stations short in Abuja included AA Rano in Airport Road and Shafa at City Gate Total, AP, Mobile, and others across the city. However, most of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL stations in the city had few, but with long queues. Meanwhile, few filling stations that still have the product to dispense have jacked up the pump price to as high as 750 naira per litre. A motorist say, obviously, this isn't panic buying, according to reports and, Vox Pop from various says it is not panic buying. The government needs to save time around because the experiences and sufferings of people have been long coming. In Kano, motorists spent hours in long queues at most filling stations before they could buy fuel. Long queues were more conspicuous at NNPC filling stations at Kofa Nasarawa flyover by Kano Line, Ibrahim Taiwo Road and Kano Club roundabout. Also, our reports carried out that NNPC was selling fuel at 620 naira per litre, which explains why there was a long queue at the NNPC filling station as to the, narrative that this was panic buying. Also, long queues were observed at the AA Rano filling station inside the Bayero University's new site, while a litre of PMS was sold for 690 naira. In Kaduna, there were unusual queues at filling stations dispensing fuel, including AA Rano filling station at Millennium City, Total filling station along Amadu Bello Way, and MRS filling station along Ali Akilu Road, all in Kaduna Metropolis. Major marketers, including AA Rano and Shafa stations, were selling at 690 naira per litre, while others, including Shema, sold above 700 naira per litre. Now, reports as to regards people in Ilorin. For residents in Ilorin, it was observed that a litre of fuel hit 700 naira over this weekend. This situation has led to scarcity in fuel queues in some areas, leading to widespread dissatisfaction among residents and motorists. Also in Lagos, it was observed that long queues at major filling stations like the NNPC retail outlets selling at 560 naira per litre, while other major marketers sold at 590 naira and 610 naira respectively. Now we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll look at other news making the rounds. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you've just joined us, this is Global Television and Business Point, where we x-ray Nigeria's economy, talk about tech, innovation, as well as government policies and the news-making rounds in the world of business. Now, a couple of mining licenses were revoked. The notice gave all concerned parties 30 days to regularize their status, including clarification on what caused the license to be dormant. Thus, a total of 963 licenses were published and notified of the threat of revocation. No fewer than 39 either moved to site immediately or convinced the authorities of the challenges hindering their operations. He stated that the revocation included 528 exploration licenses, 20 mining leases, 101 quarry licenses, and 273 small-scale mining licenses, SSML. Speaking further, the minister said that the action followed due process and fair consideration, while it underscored the commitment of the federal government to implement the standard policy of use it or lose it as enshrined in mining guidelines. He also said investors across the globe are now free to apply for any of the affected cadastral units on the basis of first come, first serve. The minister gave an opportunity for affected licensees to make restitution, imposing fines for different categories of revoked license, stressing that is also applied to the 1,633 titles revoked last year for default in payment of annual service fees. He emphasized that for revoked mining licenses, a fine of 10 million naira applies, 7.5 million naira for SSMLs, while 5 million naira for exploration license. They will be required to make the payment within 30 days to qualify for consideration. Going forward, the Federal Competition and Consumer Right Protection Council, FCCPC, has vowed to go after players in the informal sector to guard against any form of exploitation of consumers. The acting executive vice chairman of the commission, Alhaji Adamu Abdullahi, noted that recent interventions of the federal government through its various agencies, including FCCPC, had yielded results with reduction in the prices of commodities. He gave an instance with rice, which he said, now sold below 60,000 naira. Abdullahi, while featuring on a TV program, said that as statutory agency of government in charge of protecting the rights of consumers, FCCPC covered all sectors of the economy. It disclosed that the Commission recently visited some markets across the country in an effort to compel marketers to bring down the prices of their food items. He also made known that the Commission signed a memorandum of understanding with the Lagos Consumer Protection Agency, LASCOPA, to stop price fixing in major markets in the state. Also, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, has called for more collaboration of government agencies and establishments to improve efficiency in revenue generation and management of government revenue. The 59th president of ICAN, Dr. Innocent Okwosa, who made the call in Lagos during his official visit to the Ikeja District Society of ICAN, IDSICN, said accountants were experts in driving the revenue of any organization. He spoke at the headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, in the course of the visit, where he commended FAN's management for employing over 100 accountants. The managing director of FAN, Mrs. Olubumi Kuku, said the federal government was committed to improving service delivery at its airports by ensuring safe, secure, and efficient carriage of passengers within and outside the country. She said ICAN had been playing a pivotal role in the training of accountants, noting that FAN's accountants were an important part of the workforce doing the job with transparency, accuracy, and accountability. Now, the Board of Premium Pension Limited recently announced the appointment of the former governor of Bauchi State, Dr. Mohammed A. Abubakar, architect, Saleh Yunusa, Mr. Mohammed Jibrin Bade, and Mr. Babayo Yaya as the new non-executive directors of the company. A statement by the company on Wednesday said the directors will bring their wealth of experience to drive growth of the company. Dr. Mohammed Abdullahi Abubakar, who is a legal luminary and astute administrator, and brings a wealth of legal expertise and extensive experience in public service to his role as a director at Premium Pension. Also, architect Saleh Mohammed Yunusa is a seasoned architect with a wealth of experience spanning over 4 decades. He was former general manager, chief executive of the Bauchi State Housing Authority. Now, Justice Akintayo Aluko of the Federal High Court in Lagos has adjourned indefinitely the suit filed against First Bank Holdings by the bank's shareholder Olusegun Samuel Onogurua, seeking to stop the annual general meeting of the bank. The judge adjourned the matter till further notice to allow the Lagos Division of the Court of Appeal to hear and determine an appeal filed by the Central Bank of Nigeria seeking to join the suit as an interested party. Onagorua had filed an application urging the court for an order to stop extraordinary general meeting of FBN Holdings, earlier scheduled to be held on April 30th, 2024. However, FBN Holdings had cancelled the EGM and put up the notice on NGX in the application, which is yet to be heard before the court adjourned indefinitely. Onagorua is seeking the following release: an order restraining First Bank Holdings and its board of directors, their agents, employees, servants, officers, directors, privates, and anyone acting on their behalf or at their behest from convening, conducting, and holding the first respondents' extraordinary general meeting scheduled to hold virtually on the 30th day of April 2024, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive action. Listed as defendants in the suit are First Bank Holding PLC, Alhaji Ahmed Abdullahi, the chairman of the board of directors, Mrs. Julius Omodayo Owotuga, non-executive director, and Mr. Nnamdi Okonkwo, Group Managing Director. At the resumed hearing of the matter on Wednesday, the lawyer to the defendants, Fred Onobia, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, informed the courts that the business of the court is to hear the application challenging its jurisdiction and application to set aside the ex parte order made by the court and the petitioner's contempt application against the defendant. Now, a lawyer to the CBN, Olumide Adebowale, urged the court to stay all proceedings in the suit. Adebowale told the court that his application was based on the appeal filed against the court's ruling, which refused to join his client as the party in the suit. He also told the court that the parties had exchanged briefs and the Court of Appeal had fixed July 3rd, 2024 for the appeal hearing. He's also urging the court to adjourn the matter since sine die till the determination of his appeal. Now, in response to this, counsel to the petitioner, Adesoji Adedoyin, opposed the submission of the CBN's counsel on the ground that there are contempt proceedings against all the defendants. In a short ruling, Justice Aluko held that since an appeal is before the Court of Appeal, the best thing to do is to stay further proceedings to await the verdict of the upper court. Experts in the trade and investment sector have called on the federal government to by all means maintain a level of stability in the forex market to guarantee meaningful investments in the country. They made the call in Abuja Wednesday at a one-day roundtable on strengthening the Naira, organized by the Policy Advocacy Center of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ACCI. Speaking at the event, the second vice president of ACCI, Dr. Idi Hong, noted that economic growth would be difficult if the Naira was not experiencing some level of stability. In Nigeria today, no enterprise will survive with the way foreign exchange fluctuate. If the Naira would trade against the dollar at 2,000 Naira, the government should tell businesses to plan, because as it stands, businesses can plan no business can plan as it is not feasible, according to him. The compliance they get is for business plans against the Naira at 1,500 today, and tomorrow 2,000 Naira is a fluctuation that affects businesses. The president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN, Samuel Agbeluyi, while contributing to a panel discussion, noted that reduction of taxes would go a long way in stabilizing the Naira and attracting foreign investments. According to him, President Bola Tinubu has come out with a blueprint to address multiplicity of taxes, as there are many businesses that pay 65 taxes, which is, according to him, anarchy. The president has now set up a professional committee on fiscal policy and tax reforms with a one-year mandate to trim the taxes from 65 to 9, and the committee is already rounding up its mandate. According to him, another area that should be looked at to strengthen the Naira is to also beam searchlights on individuals who do not pay taxes. South Africa has a population of 60 million people, and they tax about 27 trillion Naira equivalent from personal income tax, while Nigeria collects only 2.7 trillion Naira, and our population over 200 million Naira. 200 million people, which calls for more action in bringing the rich into the tax net. Similarly, Mohammed Yelwa, a professor of economics at the University of Abuja, queried the appreciation of the Naira all of a sudden from the worst performing currency in February to the best last week when channels of production had not improved. He, however, noted that the clearing of the backlog and frequent disbursement of forex to BDCs had helped to provide some stability to the naira. In the same vein, an economist and managing director and chief executive officer of Dignity Finance and Investment Limited, Chijoke Ikechukwu, said one of the first steps to naira strengthening was recapitalization of the banks, which he noted the CBN had already commenced. Moving on, President Bola Tinubu has approved the takeoff of the first phase of the Consumer Credit Scheme. Presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngelale, in a statement on Wednesday, said the scheme was expected to assist citizens enhance their quality of life by assessing goods and services upfront and paying responsibility over time, and facilitate crucial purchases such as homes, vehicles, education, and healthcare essential for ongoing stability to pursue their aspiration. He explained that through responsible repayment, individuals will build credit histories, unlock more opportunities for a better life. He also added that the increased demand for goods and services stimulates local industry and job creation. He further said that the president believed every hardworking Nigerian should have access to social mobility, with consumer credit playing a pivotal role in achieving the vision. Part of the statement reads, the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, Credicorp, will strengthen Nigeria's credit reporting systems, ensuring every economically active citizen has a dependable credit score. The score becomes personal equity they build, facilitating access to consumer credits. And now we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at soap maker PZ Cussons, how they announced it will review its business operations in Nigeria, get towards reducing risk and maximizing shareholder value. Just after this quick break, we'll be right back. Please stay with us. You're welcome. And if you've just joined in us, this is Business Point on Global Television, where we talk about Nigeria's economy and the news making rounds in the world of business. Now, soap maker PZ Cussons has announced it will review its business operations in Nigeria, geared towards reducing risk and maximizing shareholder value. This was disclosed in a statement following the disclosure of its financial result for Q3 2024 ending March 3rd, 2024. The company announced it will sell its brand St. Tropez and evaluate its options for its Africa business, noting that as part of the group, it is a very complex asset to manage despite its attractiveness. According to the statement, the group has made significant progress in strengthening and improving the performance of its sizable operations in Africa, where it owns a highly attractive group of assets with leading consumer brands, strong operational infrastructure, and continued growth potential. However, the board recognizes that this is a complex group of assets and is therefore evaluating the strategic options both to reduce risk and to maximize shareholder value. Speaking on the results for the quarter under review, the CEO of PZ Cussons, Jonathan Myers, said there is much more to do to open the opportunities in its Nigerian business due to the severe macroeconomic challenges in the country. The Federal Ministry of Finance has recovered over 57 billion naira from the 5.2 trillion naira debt owed by ministries, departments and agencies to the federal government. The Director, Special Projects, Federal Ministry of Finance, Aisha Omar, disclosed this in Enugu during a one-day workshop on the federal government's debt recovery drive through the project's Lighthouse program for the Southeast Zone. Declaring the event open, Omar, represented by the Deputy Director of Special Projects in the Ministry, Bridget Moloku, revealed that the debt came to the spotlight from data aggregated over 5,000 debtors across more than 93 ministries, departments, agencies, MDAs. The Naira further appreciated at the official market, trading at 1,308.52 Naira to the dollar. Data from the official trading platform of the FMDQ Exchange, a platform that oversees the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM, revealed that the Naira lost 8.37 Naira. This represents a 0.64% loss when compared to the previous trading date on April 23rd, when it exchanged at 1,300 Naira to a dollar. The federal government recorded a 52.9% year-on-year increase in deficit spending to 12.86 trillion naira in 2023 from 8.41 trillion naira in 2022. The rise in deficit spending was driven by a 40.6% rise in expenditure, which moderated the impact of a 20% increase in revenue during the period under review. Following the same trend, expenditure rose to 18.83 trillion naira in 2022, representing 20.5% year-on-year increase from 13.39 trillion naira recorded in 2022. The federal government recorded the highest deficit spending of 1.68 trillion naira in March 2023. In furtherance of efforts to sanitize the mining sector, like earlier put out, the federal government has also revoked 925 dormant licenses spanning exploration, mining, small-scale mining, and quarrying licenses. Making this announcement at the press conference, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, declared that in line with the constitutional provisions, adequate notice was given to all concerned parties through the official Gazette of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which was published on December 27, 2023. Sharon Ajay has details. We'll bring you that detail in our news bulletin. Now, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, has expressed support for the ongoing banking recapitalization exercise, saying it will empower banks to lend more to the economy. CIBN President Dr. Ken Okpara stated this while speaking at the annual lecture of the Institute in Lagos with the theme Improving Availability of Credit in the Nigerian Real Economy, the critical importance of liquidity. Okpara noted that the volume of credit to the real sector activities, namely agriculture, manufacturing, and service, is low compared to their critical role in driving economic growth. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll take the final stories making waves in the world of business. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. We apologize for that abrupt break in the transmission. Now, oil marketers have continued to dispense automotive gas oil, popularly called diesel, at a price between 1,350 naira per litre and 1,450 naira per litre in various locations across the country, despite repeated cuts in the price of the commodity by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. This also followed about 470 naira per litre slash in the price of aviation fuel, popularly called Jet A, by Dangote Refinery. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery announced a further reduction in the prices of diesel and aviation fuel to 940 naira per litre and 980 naira per litre, respectively. Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, has expressed support for the ongoing banking recapitalization exercise, saying it will empower banks to lend more to the economy. The CIBN president, Dr. Ken Okpara, stated this while speaking at the annual lecture of the Institute in Lagos with the theme Improving Availability of Credit in the Nigerian Real Economy, the critical importance of liquidity. Okpara noted that the volume of credit to the real sector activities, which includes agriculture, manufacturing, and services is low compared to their critical role in driving economic growth. Now let's go further to efforts made by the mining sector to sanitize, I beg your pardon, the efforts by the federal government to actually sanitize the mining sector. The federal government revoked 924 dormant licenses spanning exploration, mining, small-scale mining and quarrying licenses. Making the announcement at a press conference, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, declared that in line with constitutional provisions, adequate notice was given to all concerned parties through the official Gazette of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, number 227, which was published on December 27, 2023. We'll bring you the reports now.
In view of the foregoing, Alake affirmed the revocation of 928 dormant licenses, which include 528 exploration licenses, 20 mining licenses, 101 quarry licenses, and 273 small-scale mining licenses. According to the minister, the notice gave all concerned parties 30 days to regularize their status, including clarification on what caused the license to be dormant. A total of 963 licenses were published and notified of the threat of revocation. No fewer than 39 either moved to site immediately or convinced the authorities of the challenges hindering their operation.
It has become imperative to revoke all dormant licenses. In line with constitutional provisions, we ensure that adequate notice was given to the concerned parties through the official Gazette of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, number 227, which was published on December 27, 2023. This notice gave all concerned parties 30 days to regularize their status, including clarifications on what caused the license to be dormant. Although a total of 963 licenses were published and notified of the threat of revocation, no fewer than 39 either moved to site immediately or convinced the authorities of the challenges which hindered their operations. In view of the above, which shows our adherence with due process and fair consideration, and in line with the standard policy of use it or lose it, I hereby revoke the 924 dormant licenses with immediate effect.
Speaking further, the minister stated that the action followed due process and fair consideration, whilst it underscores the commitment of the federal government to implement the standard policy of use it or lose it, as enshrined in mining guidelines. According to Dr. Alake, investors across the globe are now free to apply for any of the affected cadastral units on the basis of first come, first serve.
There are so many negative consequences. First, serious businessmen ready to move to site are barred from making use of such sites because the concept of first come, first serve means that the place has been acquired. The country thus loses a lot of foreign direct investment on account of this sabotage. Second, by creating a secondary black market to pawn mineral licenses, the unsuspecting and unwary investor is misled into believing that he can only obtain license by patronizing the black market. This gives our country a bad image abroad and discourages investment. Thirdly, from feedback, the amount at which these licenses are sold are so huge compared to their costs from government, such that the funds which they could have used to initiate serious exploration or mining are spent on speculators.
He noted that the revocation is not meant to be punitive. The minister announced an opportunity for affected licenses to make restitution, imposing fines for different categories of revoked licenses, stressing that this also applies to the 1,633 titles revoked last year for default in payment of annual service fees. The minister further warns that henceforth the federal government will not tolerate the nefarious activities of licensed racketeering or those that obtain licenses for speculation in order to offer them to the highest bidder. Sharana J reporting for Global TV News.
And that's all on our package on the news-making rounds in the world of business. Do make it a date with us tomorrow. I am Queen Agaba. Do make sure you follow us on all our social media handles now showing on your screen at Global TV NG and other handles. Until next time, have a wonderful day ahead. See you again.